Hello, 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 and welcome back to Anime-chan, where today we're going to be watching my reaction highlights of episode 305 of Fairy Tail. It's episode 28 in the final season, and the episode is called White DRAGNEEL. I didn't know the episode name before I started watching, so that whole reveal, character introduction, was quite a surprise to me. I just wanted to say before we start that the last episode, episode 304, was called, the episode name was Fairy Tail 0. It is like a link back to that side story, which really isn't a side story, it's very canon in my opinion. So it's like a link back to the beginning of Fairy Tail. And the episode obviously proved that because it basically drew Tenrojima, the island, and Zera, and everything was in the episode, so it linked pretty beautifully in my opinion. And the reason that I'm just pointing this out is because a lot of people commented and said that this isn't Fairy Tail 0, and I know I'm not an idiot. I just wanted to say that it's the episode name. Okay, now that we have that out of the way, I'd like to dedicate this video to another big Fairy Tail fan, Warren Littlechild. Thank you so much for being a patron and for making what I do so much easier. And I really hope that you enjoy watching this episode with me. I can't wait to share my thoughts with you at the end because I have quite a few things to say. So, without further ado, let's watch. I don't like seeing Mira scared. How could we listen to a preppy intro song after that?
Irene. アクノロギアは一時退けた。陛下はフェアリーテイルへ送った。責められる筋合いはありません。今一度12は。わかりましたわ。ここはオーガスト様の顔を立てましょう。けど、私の子を傷つけたあの娘の始末だけは。いいですわ。参りましょうか。
I can't be sad. I'm sorry, I can't be sad after the whole Gajeel thing. She's probably not dead, so.
私に妹なんていないぞ。でもあなたは知らないぞ。悪い人たちに連れて行かれてしまったお姉様を。私、お姉様を取り戻すために時間を戻そうとしたこともあったのですよ。人違いだぞ。なんでそんな意地悪を。お前には罪人の姉なんかいないぞ。正しい世界で生きているんだぞ。罪人の姉なんかいちゃいけないんだぞ。
Damn that ass though.
だからいつか私の罪が許されることがあったら妹を抱きしめてあげるんだぞ。今は私を許さないで生きていてくれるだけで十分です。姉妹っていいですね。でも違うって。嘘。いらねえ。嘘でしょ。
Don't shake her head like that. She lifts up her boob. Girls with small boobs won't understand that.
違うの。12が集結する。
なんだこれ。気持ちいい。迎えに来たよ、ディマリア。ナーケイド。 DRAGNEEL.
Who? Who? He looks like the opposite of Zeref.
私にはゼレフを倒すための最後の策がある。一つ目の条件は私の体、本体が必要なこと。難しい。体が。
やめるんだインベル。
陛下、
身動きのできない水晶の中にいたんだ。また体の自由を奪うなんて心が痛むよインベル。
は
思考が奪われる。ダメ、しっかりしないと。
仕方ないな。君は本当に心配性だね。
国の執政官として
ついてきてくれるかい。
What kind of magic does he have?
勝手に。
Wow, her hair is so pretty.
見てごらん。
What the fuck? Are they like, are those soldiers?
何これ。
無理に決まってるぜ、このアジール様がいる限りな。
Oh,
一度負けてんだろう、お前は。お前もだろうが。
ランディ、
マリー。
捕まったんだって。ひどいことされなかった。
うん。
一緒にあいつらぶっ殺そう。
いいものですね、友情というのは。
I like him.
さんはいつも私にだけ冷たい。
オーガスト。それにあの人の魔力、何なの。すごい異質。
What is he?
ダ
Who
ー
is
ケイドは
he?
僕の秘密兵器さ。
スプリガン12、3人分のヒストリアは正直答えるよ。ほっほっほっ、八流のゴッドスレナ。
Wait, what? Producing 3 Historias Spring on 12 is tough, I must say. Oh, is that the death guy? This guy that was killed and then got Serena.
私がやられたら君たちもゴッド任せておく。
100万の兵12の集結。
何この魔力。
ユニバース1の件は不問にしておく。むしろよくやってくれたよ。
あら、お尻を叩かれるくらいの罰は覚悟していましたのに。
アイリーンは魔力をつける外すの天才なんだ。
そんな。
さすがに時間がかかりそうね。
うん、任せるよ。
そんな。
テイル、君たちに明日は与えない。
So that's why they've been rushing through all the fights, because they weren't the main fights. Makes sense? Because I remember feeling that all the fights were happening really fast. Not all of them, but I felt like a lot of them were like, what? Really? That ended up abruptly. And now it makes sense why. Because it was never the main fight. Like, it was all still coming all at once. But
これが最後の夜明けになるかもしれない。だからゆっくり休むのだ。
オイラたちまだまだやれるんだ。行こう、夏。
they are the strongest team in Fairy Tail. Whoa. That
これ
background
全部敵
music.
なの？
無策で突撃するわけにはいかない。
You just need strategy and all the power you have to spare.
こんなに頼もしいことはね。
みんなが来るまでに前線を押し上げる。
ギルドではきっと初代が待ってるわ。
どっちが先にゼレフ倒すか勝負すっか、ナズ。よーし、燃えてきたぞ。しまらねえな、お前は。
僕を殺せば君も死ぬ。
オイラは絶対夏
Or
を
did
死なせたり
Happy
し
just
ない。
remember that? Are they just charging it without a plan? Wait, I thought we needed a plan! Strategy! Wow! Animation! Come through! Natsu looks so good! I prefer Jumia's powers, I'm not gonna lie. Wow. That's the same outfit she wore in like in the first fight that we saw her in, I think. Yay! Oh, is that Serena? God Serena? Yeah, that's a weirdo. Oh, he's such a weirdo. Oh. No, 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 no. Is it?
Yo.
Oh my god, finally, it's about time you showed up. Damn. I've never wanted to call someone daddy more. What an awkward thing to end on, but okay. I'm just gonna be honest here for a sec. There was this opening and then this hyped up, like the opening was so dark and sad and scary, like what happened to Mira, and then the opening song was like happy and exciting, like this badass, like it's a cool song, but it just didn't fit at all for me. Now we end on this freaking badass awesome moment. Now we have this sad somber song. And it doesn't really go together for me. Like I love the ending song, don't get me wrong, but I know it's hard choosing an opening and ending song that really it almost goes with anything, like, you know, or the transition I just feel needs to be a little bit smoother. But no, great opening and great ending song. It's just in this specific episode it didn't work. The transition didn't work either way. Fucking finally Gildarts comes along. Yes. And let's start the review. So, I have 2 notes of things I specifically wanted to talk about in this episode, or that the episode brought up for me, okay? First of all, you could tell from my reaction, I'm almost hopeless. Because it seems like their enemy at this point is just too strong. But then I realized whose side I'm on. I can't not believe in Natsu and his guild. I can't not believe in them. Why? Because they believe in themselves and they're fighting for each other. So I know how this will turn out. And I get so frustrated sometimes with people who say they don't like Fairy Tail because of the friendship power-ups. But if you ask them what's your favorite anime, they list 2 or 3 anime where I can go and I can watch it and I can pick out all the random power-ups. Like, I love Bleach, but Bleach also has these random power-ups where you think, oh, he's just about to die, I'm at a part now in Bleach where a certain character is just about to die, and then bam, suddenly he has this whole other superpower that he didn't ever have access to before, and you know, at the brink of death he suddenly just gains access to this power. It's not so different from using friendship power-ups as a way to make your character stronger, because I don't know how to explain it. That's just how things work. Even in real life, if you look at anyone in history, when they've hit rock bottom, and a couple of years later they're on top of the world because something happened. And it may seem magical, it may seem unbelievable to you, but that doesn't mean it didn't happen, you know? Winning only happens when you don't give up. The only people that lose are the ones that give up. So my point is that friendship power-ups, getting strength out of nowhere, training for 2 years to gain the strength, they're all just different ways to tell the story of the main character winning. I hope that makes sense to you, but I would like to talk a little bit about something that I realized while reading the fairy tale manga. So I recently started not rereading the manga, but I started reading the manga, and it feels like I'm rereading because I've already watched the anime, and it's like it's all coming back to me. And there's this one, let me just quickly get, I'm reading it on my iPad. There's this one image, this one specifically. So this is where Natsu is fighting one of the first evildoers we meet in Fairy Tail. So the guy is like, he wants to play a flute, it's called Lullaby, and he wants to kill all the guild masters. So I'm not spoiling anything, obviously, this is at the very start of Fairy Tail. And then what happens is Natsu, and trust me, this is relevant, so it's relevant to this episode and to Fairy Tail as a whole. What happens is Natsu is fighting this guy. I'm gonna call him the lullaby guy, because I forgot his name right now. I don't remember his name. Is this guy, that guy with the face. That one, obviously not Natsu. So Natsu is fighting him, and then he uses wind magic. So the wind magic keeps blowing Natsu's flames away, and Natsu starts getting angry, and the flames start getting hotter, and Happy realizes, oh, let me try this. And what Happy does is, no, Natsu, don't worry about it. Erza and Grey will be here in a moment. They'll handle him. You can't defeat him. He's too strong for you. And Natsu gets angry, and his anger fuels his power. And this is how the conversation goes, or the text goes. Natsu, look at this freaking awesome visual right there. That looks amazing. Why can't I get close to you? I don't get it. And then the guy, the lullaby guy, says, it's such a bizarre magic. His emotions seem to be manifested directly into the flame. And that's very, very important, because that is the friendship power-up explained at the very start of Fairy Tail. I feel like it's so beautiful. It's so small. It's such a small scene, that little page, I mean, but it influences the whole story of Fairy Tail, and these friendship power-ups that people just don't get. Emotion fuels anything. In the story, yes, emotion fuels magic. You can learn how to use magic, but conviction and emotion, what you put into the magic, that is what you can train and make it stronger. But what are you doing when you're training? You're not only training your physical body, your skill, you're also putting that intention into your magic, which is that it's a feeling, you know, and that makes it stronger. So what happens when you're fighting for someone you love? Love is a powerful emotion, and that makes you stronger. Hate is a powerful emotion, and that's why, I might have mentioned this before, but I've told a couple of people, it's just my personal opinion, but I prefer being angry before being sad. Because when I'm sad, I feel powerless. But when I'm angry, I feel like, you know, you want to get revenge, you want to do something, you want to So that movement is better than feeling sad, because sadness leads to powerlessness, which on a great scale, in long term, that could manifest depression. So I always tell people, as in any opportunity that I can choose, I choose to be angry rather than being sad. Like, it's not a choice you can always make, but whenever I can. Do you understand what I'm saying? When I start feeling sad, I start, at the beginning at least, trying anything I can to get out of feeling sad and get angry instead. Like, even blame someone else. This. And then I use that anger to move me. So let's say you're angry at stupid example, at an ex-boyfriend for dumping you. I'd rather be angry than sad, right? Because if I'm angry, then I'm gonna show that asshole. I'm gonna exercise. I'm gonna grow my hair. I'm gonna start doing my makeup better. I'm going to show him what he lost. You know, that anger fuels you into action. Whereas if you're sad and you focus on the loss of that person, or he dumped me, what's wrong with me, I'm so sad, I miss him. If you focus your energy on that sadness and cultivate the sadness, what are you going to do? You're going to feel powerless. You're going to sit on the couch and eat your ice cream, and it's much harder to come back from that place than it is when you build yourself up through anger. Is anger a positive thing to feel? No, but it's, in my opinion, better than sadness, and it gives you that power. The reason I'm explaining all of this is because love works in a similar way. Love is a powerful emotion. I can't explain it really better than that. Love is powerful because in any and most anime that you've watched, the MC is always fighting for something or someone. When they're just fighting for themselves, they're strong, they can be strong, they can survive, they can make it from day to day. But the moment that the MC has, let's look at Kimetsu no Yaiba, he's fighting for his sister. That becomes his strength. Throughout his training, he uses his sister's name often throughout his training because it fuels his will. And that's what happens in Fairy Tail in their magic. Remember, we're already dealing with magic, so you can't say, oh, that's not realistic, because fuck, we're dealing with fire magic and ice magic and water magic and celestial magic and. But what is similar to that magic and real life is that our emotions fuel our actions. In Fairy Tail, strong emotions fuels their power. Just like when a mother, her child is in danger, parents, not just mothers, but have that intense desire you have to save your child, let's say from a flipped over car. That intense desire has a physiological effect. All that adrenaline gets released, and suddenly you have this monstrous strength to lift a car off of your child. Shit like that has happened in the world, and it's you. In anime, that would be, oh, power up, friendship power up, so lame, blah blah blah. But it's more realistic than you think. And the fact and what we learned from early on in Fairy Tail is this part. It's later in the same arc, the lullaby arc, where Ji-chan, the master says, weaklings will stay weak forever, but weakness is not evil, since human beings are weak creatures to begin with. Alone, you feel nothing but insecurity. That's why we form guilds. That's why we have nakama. And that's what he says. So it's this part of the manga. That is the message of Fairy Tail. So people that complain about the friendship power-ups, the essence of Fairy Tail has went right over your head, and that's fine. You don't need to get it. You maybe haven't experienced the kind of friendship that makes life worthwhile, that makes you feel like you can do anything. If you haven't experienced that friendship, maybe you'll experience it one day and you'll understand and you'll get Fairy Tail. But people like me, the people that appreciate and love Fairy Tail despite its many faults, just like any anime has faults, people like me, we're loyal to Fairy Tail because we understand the power of love. And that can sound so cliche, but it's true. And that leads me to my next thing that I wanted to talk about. Nakama, the power of friendship, Gildarts, who showed up at the end of the anime. How are these things linked? Let me tell you. So I recently started watching One Piece, and one of the things that came up a lot, and I've been having a lot of fun watching One Piece. The fandom has been the most welcoming, kindest fandom I've ever been introduced to. So I really have been loving One Piece. And a lot of people actually, each fandom has its bad seeds. So there have been a few people that come, and not just in One Piece, in every other anime fandom, people complaining about Fairy Tail, you know? So a lot of people have said, not a lot of people, let's say 3-4 people have mentioned that Gildarts is a knockoff Shanks from One Piece. And I find it hilarious that people are so bent out of shape because of something like that. Like a knockoff Shanks, really? When we look at One Piece and a lot of its characters, people have commented on the videos and found pride in the fact that Captain Morgan is inspired from a real-life pirate. They've mentioned that a lot of the characters are inspired by real-life people. The one character I briefly saw at the end of episode 9, someone said something he did was based off Michael Jackson, and I think it's amazing. I think it's amazing how the anime was inspired. You know, you can literally feel the creators, the thought that he put into his characters, this world, and the care with which he chose this character. I'm going to put this name for this reason, and this characteristic for this reason, and this is inspired by this. It's such a beautiful process, the creation process. And as far as I'm aware, I might be wrong, the creator of the writer of Fairy Tail, or the creator of Fairy Tail, was an assistant, or I'm not sure if he was a friend of, but he worked with the creator of One Piece. So do you not think for a second that, yeah, Fairy Tail could be inspired by One Piece? Maybe a few characters were inspired by One Piece characters. Is that a bad thing? It's not copying anything. Taking inspiration from something is a completely different intention. And I feel personally, if you find offense in something as silly as that, like Shanks is a knockoff, Gildarts is a knockoff Shanks, and Fairy Tail is trash, and if you have to break something else down to lift up an anime that you love, I feel like you're insecure. Like, no anime as good as One Piece needs to break anything else down to be good. Something as good as One Piece will inevitably have inspired other creators. Very, very few things in the world are absolutely unique. Everything is inspired from something else. We can't even dream up, even in literal sleep, we don't dream unique faces. We can only see faces in our dreams of people we've met at one point in our lives. Nothing is entirely unique. We make it up based on what we see. And so maybe Gildarts, I don't know, I haven't gotten so far into One Piece yet that I can see much or make any assumptions based on this, but based on your opinions. So what if Gildarts was inspired by Shanks? Why is that a bad thing? I bring this up now because I recently started One Piece, and because Gildarts just entered the scene. I forgot about him here and there because he is such a mysterious character, just like Shanks, I guess, from One Piece. Like I said, I've only watched 9 episodes, I can't say much. But I also want to point out that I do understand, because when I was 14 years old, I watched an anime called Tokyo Mew Mew, but I watched it in the dub first. I watched Mew Mew Power, which was on, like, I don't know, KTV or something. And I remember a couple of months after that, it wasn't an anime, it was a cartoon, but you could see it was slightly inspired by anime because it had the anime eyes, and it was called, I don't know, but it also had like 5 magical girls, and they had these powers, and I felt like so like, oh, it's just a copy of Mew Mew Power, how it's so unoriginal and da da da. But I was 14 years old. That's a childish way of thinking. Being inspired by something and copying something and trying to pass it off as your own, I feel like those are 2 entirely different things. And I feel like Fairy Tail and One Piece tell entirely different stories with an entirely different cast. And I feel like both can be appreciated for what they are. And if you don't like one, if you're a One Piece fan and you're not a Fairy Tail fan, I might be preaching to the choir here because you guys are obviously Fairy Tail fans. But I just wanted to talk about it because it is something I feel very strongly about. If you don't like an anime, then don't talk about it. If you're watching it and you don't like it and you say, okay, I don't like it, these are the reasons, and move on with your life. But why do you have to, whenever someone else is talking about it, put your 2 cents in, well, I don't like it. I guess I'm just getting a little bit tired of people shitting on Fairy Tail. And this is not the first time I'm talking about it. I shouldn't even have to talk about it. I shouldn't even have to defend it because really, it doesn't need defending. But this all came up now in this episode, and I just wanted to say it one last time. Fairy Tail is amazing. I love the story, and it has its faults just like any other anime, but some of us are loyal, you know, we get it, and we accept the faults. Like when you're dating someone, every person has faults. Some people are worth it. Some people you can love them despite their faults because, I don't know, they're meant for you. I don't know, fate, whatever. But no one's perfect. Other people, you date them and their faults you can't deal. You don't work and you dump them, they dump you, whatever. What kind of idiot goes around following that person around, and every person they talk to, you tell them, the other person, hey, this person has a lot of faults. They chew too loudly, they work too much, they this and this and this. Like, what kind of idiot does that? You broke up, you cry about it, you complain to your friends, and then you move on. And that's how I feel like these Fairy Tail haters. It's like, leave me alone. I enjoy Fairy Tail. Like, if you don't like it, fine. I can argue with you because usually your reasons are pretty stupid. I'm not gonna lie. Like, oh, Fairy Tail is a knock because it has a knockoff Shanks. It's such a knockoff. It's such a fake. It's such a power of friendship. Like, if you want to have an adult discussion and talk, okay, these are the reasons you don't like it. Well, actually, I understand it this way. That's a conversation. You can tell me you don't like it and why you don't like it. If you're willing for me to say, well, actually, this is how I understand it, and then you can counter argument, and that's how the conversation goes. I have come to love anime, or parts of anime that I didn't like. I've come to love when someone has explained it I've come to love those anime if someone has explained it from their perspective. But the problem that I have is with people that are literally like the person that's been dumped by someone, and they go around following that person, like following Fairy Tail, literally following Fairy Tail, telling all other Fairy Tail fans why it's shit. Like, your shit. Go away. This episode has clearly reinstated, because I remember in the last episode I think I apologized and said, like, I was a little bit shaken up because of the whole Gajeel thing, and then getting spoiled on the whole Gajeel thing. And I knew it wouldn't last long. Shook, what is the word here? Disoriented? I was a little bit disoriented. But I knew it wouldn't last long because of, how do I say it other than the bond that I've created with Fairy Tail and the characters. That moment when Natsu charged in on those soldiers, I still remember saying, the animation, good job, because I could see the emotion in Natsu's eyes. I could fucking see the emotion in the fire that he... It was really good. This was a really good episode. I think the scene with Mira Jane and killing her was a little bit of an overkill, especially right after Gajiel died and then came back to life or whatever. I feel like it might have been a little bit overkill, but at the same time I understand it because it's supposed to tell us that, what's his name? You know who I'm talking about, sorry that I forgot the name. It was supposed to show us, I think, that he's actually a good guy. He doesn't want to kill. But at the same time, then it also showed me that Irene is pretty evil. That was some dark shit that she wanted to do with Mira Jane, so I'm a bit worried there. I'm not sure how this is gonna turn out. But yeah, this episode was great. It was episode 305. We met Larcade DRAGNEEL, and the ref says that he is strong enough to defeat Acnologia. But even Irene was worried about being confronted with Acnologia. So does that mean Larcade is stronger than Irene? Is he stronger than August? I'm a little bit shook up, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little bit scared for Fairy Tail because this is the strongest enemy they've ever faced. This is, remember that god that Natsu defeated at the start of the season? That thing would be for them. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit worried, but I'm looking forward to seeing them come together and overcome this challenge, because that's another thing I love about Fairy Tail. Whenever I'm faced with something difficult in my life, I think like I can do anything, because these characters that feel like my family, they have overcome the worst. Like I couldn't even imagine how they could overcome that, but they did, and that makes me feel like I could at least try. And that's something I love about anime, is that it's so, I can apply the lessons that I've learned, the feelings that I feel while watching anime. I can bring those feelings into my real life, and I can use them to overcome my own challenges. Okay, so not much of an episode review. I'm just gonna say that I love the episode. I'm excited. I had some surprised moments, especially with Larcade. But he definitely he has that Zeref feel, but like a Zeref is the dark side and he's the light side. It's almost like yin and yang. But if he's a DRAGNEEL, he's related to Natsu, so how are the... I don't know. And poor little Happy, who just wants to make sure that Natsu gets out of all of this alive. Will he? Despite everything I've seen up to now, I'm still not even sure if Natsu will make it out alive at the end. Even now, I'm not sure. And yeah, that's for me, that's a good anime. That even after bringing back Gajiel from the brink of death, I'm still doubting whether the MC will make it out alive. I think that's good writing. I'm enjoying it. I'm looking forward to the next episode. I'll see you guys then. Thank you so much for watching with me, and yeah, enjoy your week. Bye.